Hello kids! I'm glad to see you today. Рада вас бачити сьогодні. I am Natalie. Welcome to Interklас. Вітаю вас в Інтеркласі. Get ready for our new lesson. Приготуйтесь до нашого нового уроку. So, let us start. Today we are going to talk about places where people live. Сьогодні ми поговоримо про місця, де мешкають люди. There are a lot of buildings all over the world, but do you know the names of all of them? Існує багато будинків по всьому світу, а чи знаєте ви їх назви? Where do Indians live? How do British people name their dwelling? And wood houses are made of carton boxes. Де живуть індійці? Як британці називають власне житло? Які будинки зроблені з картонних коробок? This information and even more you will see in the next video. Ця інформація та навіть більше чекає вас у наступному відео. It will show you different kinds of dwelling in the countries on our planet. Воно покаже вам різноманітні види житла в країнах по всьому світу.
Apartments. Today many people live in cities and they live in apartments. They can be big or small. In England, people call them flats. Bungalow. In some countries like India, people live in bungalows. It's a kind of house built in lakes or rivers and it has verandas. Cottage. In countries like Canada or Sweden, people live in cottages. A cottage is a house made of wood, and you can find them in the mountains or in the countryside. Caravans or campers. When people need to move often, they usually have a caravan or camper. It's easy to move it from one place to another. Huts. People who live in tropical countries live in huts. You find them in the countryside, and people make them with wood and plants. Houseboats. In some parts of the world, such as India, Vietnam, or even Florida, people live in houseboats. You can easily move your house to a different location. Stilt house. These types of houses are usually near rivers or lakes. People build them on poles for protection in case the river or lake overflows. Treehouse. In some forests or jungles, people live on trees. They build their homes on trees for protection from wild animals in the forest. Today, many people use these houses only for recreation. Shack. A shack is a house for very poor people. People make them with carton boxes, plastic bags, pieces of tin panes, etc. A group of shacks is called the slums.
Great! We saw many interesting buildings and some information about them. Чудово! Ми побачили багато цікавих будинків та отримали деяку інформацію про них. Now let's look at some common places where people can live. А зараз давайте переглянемо поширені місця для житла. Be attentive because after that you will check yourself in the video task. Будьте уважними, адже після цього ви маєте перевірити себе у відеозавданні. A detached house. It's a house that is not joined to another house. A semi-detached house. It represents two houses with one common wall. A block of flats. It's a house with many floors, many people live there. A cottage. It's a small house usually in the country. A hut. It's a primitive dwelling which may be constructed of various local materials. A mansion. It's a big house for rich people with a swimming pool. A palace. It's a grand or royal residence or the home of the head of state. A castle. It's a large house where kings and queens lived. A mobile house. It's a house on wheels, you can move it. A houseboat. It's a boat that has been designed or modified to be used as a home. In the next video task you have to choose the right picture and name the building. У наступному відео ви маєте обрати правильне зображення та назвати споруду. Use your knowledge. Використовуйте свої знання. Get ready, steady, go! Where is the cottage? Here it is. And now, where is the mobile house? It's in the second picture. Where is the detached house? This is a detached house. Where is the block of flats? Here it is. Where is the castle? It's right here. And now, find the mansion. Well, this is the mansion. Where is the semi-detached house? Here it is. And finally, where is the palace? Here it is.
Appropriately built in 1984, the Hovercraft House is located in New Mexico and designed by Bart Prince. The house served as both his residence and studio. The bedroom is located on the end with the large windows, and the basement of the house goes deep underground, meaning it's not a real hovercraft. Hobbit House. Built by Simon Dale, the Hobbit House was built in Wales and meant to emulate a real hobbit hole found in J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. The house was built with nature in mind and meant to give back to the environment. Dale and his family weren't able to live in the house permanently, but his website includes site plans, should you want to build your very own Hobbit house. Shoe House. There is an alarmingly high amount of shoe houses all over the world. They were likely constructed by those who were inspired by the classic nursery rhyme, but then took it a step further and wondered if there was any truth to it. The Haynes Shoe House in Hallam, Pennsylvania was originally built as a form of advertisement, but then the rooms in the 5-story shoe house were rented out to couples. Missile Silo. If you have the connections and enough money, the United States government would be willing to sell you an old missile silo. The old silos are apparently very reasonably priced, but it will probably take a few $100,000 or even a few million to refurbish the silos so that they're not only ready to attack Russia, but also make them inhabitable for people to live in. Underground tunnel. In 2013, while investigating a grain mill theft, police discovered vast underground tunnels that appeared to be inhabited by the homeless. Ventilated with PVC pipes, one area with a pile of diapers, a room with beds and candles, it appears that the tunnels were home to several people. Entrances were covered by bushes and debris, and the tunnels went underground as much as 20 to 25 feet. Mall. For 4 years, Michael Townsend and his artist friends lived in a self-made studio apartment in the cinder blocks of a Rhode Island shopping mall. They managed to sneak in 2 tons of construction material to build a fully furnished studio apartment. The mall bathrooms were still used, though. Eventually, Townsend and his friends were caught when they were greeted by security guards in the apartment. House of Stone. In the Fafe Mountains of northern Portugal, the Casa do Penedo was built in 1974 by an engineer and sits in between 4 large boulders. Because of how remote it is, the house is victim to vandalism on a regular basis, as well as unexpected visits from tourists who don't even realize that the stone house is inhabited. Cave. In 2004, a man named Roy Michael Moore was evicted from his cave home at the Los Alamos National Laboratory. He wasn't just living in a cave. He had a wood-burning stove, used electricity powered by his car batteries and solar panels, a bed, a glass front door. What gave Moore away? A park employee saw smoke coming from a heavily wooded area and called the fire department. School bus. In 2012, the world was shocked when the story broke of 2 children ages 11 and 5 who were living in an abandoned school bus in a trash-filled lot. The bus had a bathroom, electricity, running water, and an air conditioner. Located in Houston, the children's parents were in prison for embezzling money from Hurricane Ike victims, and their aunt, who was their caretaker, was working 12-hour shifts and unable to take care of the children. The children were removed from the bus and taken in by the state. Once the parents were released, they got their children back. Closet. A man in Fukuoka, Japan was shocked to discover that a 58-year-old woman named Tetsuka Horikawa was living in his storage closet for over a year and even took showers while he was out. She told police that she had no other place to go, and after the man left his apartment unlocked one day, she moved in. The man had noticed that his food was disappearing and things were being moved. He eventually set up a surveillance camera and caught photos of the intruder. Tetsuka ended up being charged with trespassing.
I think now you know names of all the houses. Я впевнена, зараз ви вже знаєте назви усіх будинків. And if you go to the streets of our city, you will name all of them. І якщо ви будете йти вулицями нашого міста, то назвете їх усі. That's almost all for today, but we still have one video left. Це майже все на сьогодні, але ми маємо ще одне відео. There are 10 strangest places people actually live in. Воно про 10 найдивніших місць, де люди насправді живуть. Enjoy watching and see you next time. Насолоджуйтесь переглядом та побачимось наступного разу. Goodbye!
Hi everyone, this is Teen Time with Interkless and my name is Alexey, and today we will talk about a city. We will learn with you how to describe a city, what furniture a city has, and what directions in the city to choose to spend your time best of all. And of course, we don't need to waste our precious time. Don't click your channel and let's get started. You know, there are many pros of living in the city. City dwellers like their cities, infrastructure, buildings, entertainment, and many other things. What is a city? Let's take a look at the following presentation and be very attentive. So actually we have to talk with you about downtown. What downtown is, and what is a city, and how to describe a city. That is a good question that everyone wants to know, and here we go. Actually, in every city there are different areas. The first area is called urban. That is usually the center of a city. The next one is called residential one. The residential area is where people work and they commute in the morning to work. The next area is called suburban. Suburban is far away from the city center. Finally, that is actually recreational area, including a park. Here you see Central Park in New York. So we have to look at that one. Downtown is usually the older part of the city, where many of businesses or corporations choose to place their offices or sometimes headquarters. There are different types of cities, a car-friendly one, a bike-friendly, or just a car-free like Venice is. And people often ask what's the difference between these cities. And I will answer that in the following video presentation. You will have some information how to understand the difference. The difference is very clear and very easy to understand if you watch the presentation attentively. So be attentive. Here we'll take a look at types of streets in the city. There are different types of streets: avenue, highway, boulevard. What is the most pedestrian-friendly city in the world? Actually, it's Venice. Venice is the best known for its waterways, but it's also a walker-friendly town. Actually, this well-known destination is one of the most popular walkable cities. That's right, Venice is a car-free city. A car-free city means that in the city there you cannot find a lot of cars, and people usually walk on foot because it's expensive or it's not very convenient to park a car in the city center. What do you know about street furniture? People say invisible things that simplify life in the city. For city dwellers, of course. And I think you may agree with that saying. So our next presentation shows some important street furniture items that people have to know and people have to name in English. So watch this presentation attentively and try to be very attentive. What kinds of street furniture you know? Let's take a look at this one. Here you see a bench. The next one is a flower bed. Here we go. If you have something to throw away or to throw out, it's a trash can. And here, it's a curb. A street light. And a traffic light. If you like riding a bicycle, you need a bike lane. It's a good quiz to check how you remember words about a city, because you learned a lot of good words, including a car-friendly city or a bike-friendly city, and of course you know a lot of words to describe directions in the city and different places for sightseeing. And of course you have to watch this presentation and to give as many answers as you can. There is a city quiz ready for you to check how well you know English words about a city. Let's take a look at the first question. Choose 3 items of street furniture that: a bed, a flower bed, lights, traffic lights, or traffic sign. If you are attentive, that is actually a flower bed, traffic lights, and a traffic sign. So here we go. A city building where you can repair your car. It's a workshop, it's a hardware store, it's a car repair shop, or it's a market. Actually, your car can be repaired at a car repair shop. What building belongs to public catering places or areas where you can eat out? That is a cafe, a concert hall, a museum, or a theater. You are right if you say, or if you choose, the word that is called it's a cafe. Okay, you've done a lot of work today and you know much information about a city. So I wish you to have successful English classes, to have progress in English, and of course take care and goodbye.